Ladies and gents, this is a moment you've been waiting for to Monday Madness. How are you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. I'm here with Kieran. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, G Wolf. Good to be on Monday Madness. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the madness. But yeah, thanks for having me and hi to everyone in the chat as well.
So, anyway, let's address the elephant in the room. What did you think of the game on
Uh,
Saturday?
yeah, it was poor, wasn't it? Obviously, the result, very bad way to start the season. I think going into it, there was a lot of feeling of we kind of lucked out with our first few games of the season being newly promoted sides. And despite obviously thinking it was going to be a bit of a test going away from home to a newly promoted team, ultimately we kind of didn't show much at all in the game. It wasn't as if we, from my point of view anyway, that we actually kind of had loads of chances or we looked good for long periods. It was Hull fully deserved the result. You know, we were nowhere near good enough. And actually, for me, I felt that we didn't look ready for the test. It felt like we were a bit undercooked fitness wise, not just kind of tactically, but I think fitness wise as well. There are a few players that underperformed quite badly. So yeah, obviously a huge wake up call at the start of the season, and maybe in some ways it's better to have it now than it is kind of down the line, I suppose. But still, 3 points at the start of the season's worth just the same as 3 points at the end. So disappointing start. Gotta say disappointing. Obviously we've still got Baleba to come into the team, so we've had Ahmad injury as well. But these are kind of very small excuses, to be honest. Like ultimately, yeah, we got caught cold, and Hull fully deserved the result.
Exactly. Dear me. I tell you what, yeah, right. Like, I get what people are like thinking, but like, I try and look at the positives. Like, look, majority we had the possession. I thought a passing was okay. The final third was absolute crap. It was just like, well, get the ball and just bang it in. You know what I mean? Like literally, it was like Louis Van Gaal from old. How many crosses did he have? About 30, 35 crosses
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nothing at the end of it. Like, you know, we had more touches in the box than Hull. But the only thing is, when Hull attacked, there was intent. When we attacked, there was no intent at all. It was just literally get the ball, bang it in. And it was just absolutely disastrous, I thought. Like, you know, I thought like, you know, apart from that, it was absolute disaster. Like Maguire, he just wants to give everybody a hug. Maybe if he had long enough, he could have kissed him as well.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Literally, like. But it was set pieces again. I thought, like, you know, the set piece again, literally done us again. We're always getting done by set pieces, and but was it even a foul to begin with? Did you think it was a foul
I
for that
think
free kick?
yeah, the Tielemans one. I think um, to me it was maybe a little bit soft, but like I think probably in this day and age it's always going to be given a foul because he gets nutmegged, and then it's one of those where once you've been nutmegged and the forward's trying to get past you, it's very difficult if you make contact to argue it's not a foul. So it's always going to be given, but I always think in those situations, ultimately the forward kind of knows what they're doing there. They're kind of looking for that contact, but at the same time, like it probably is a foul, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, I think you're right in terms of the way we defended the set piece. Yeah, really poor, to be honest. To concede twice from set pieces, because actually outside of the set pieces, as much as I thought Hull played well, they didn't have many other clear opportunities at goal apart from the two goals they scored, which obviously sounds ridiculous. But to me, actually, outside of the set pieces, Lamans didn't have to make too many big saves,
Um,
which was, to
I
me,
thought he did, especially in the first half. They were all literally every time Hull attacked, there was lots of intent. He had to tip one just over the bar,
There was that one, to be fair, yeah. There
and
was
then
that.
he just wasn't there a near post one that he had to get literally dive over and got it before the first goal. There was two great saves from Lemons, I thought.
Mm.
But apart from
Yeah.
that, yeah, as you said, I couldn't. The keeper, like the first half, keeper was had to make some decent saves, but then in the second half, it was a bit. It wasn't like there was nothing really troubling him. But so I thought, soon as we brought on, who was it? Who did we bring on? I'm trying to think. Soon as we brought on Lacey, and like I hate to say it, and Rashford. When we brought on Rashford, we took off. Obviously, we took off. Who was it? Was it Zut? Um,
We
who
brought
was it? I'm
Rashford on
trying to
at half
think.
time for
I think it
Dorgu,
was Cunha, wasn't it?
I think. Yeah,
And
we
Dorgu,
brought
yeah,
Rashford on. Yeah, Rashford came on for Dorgu at half time, and then I know, yeah, Cunha got taken off.
for Sesko.
Yeah.
So as soon as Sesko and Rashford came on for Dorgu, because of the chances that Dorgu had, and not just didn't do anything. He was really he was really, I thought was really poor yesterday, Dorgu. And I just
I think
thought,
so.
and I just really thought, when Rashford came on, we had more intent in the second half. But again, it was the same old. As soon as we get the ball, put it in the box, and then nothing. But anyway, we've got a few people in here now. So hello to the viewers. And there's Mrs. Wolf. So hiya Neil Driscoll, United Till I Die, Mason Mount fan, Real, Stephanie, Jules. I hope you guys are all well, and old Mickey. How you all doing? And also Pundit KD. How you doing, dude? I hope you're doing well. So United Till I Die says Dorgu can be a good winger, but needs to be developed into one. We do not develop players well. Well, we used to back in the day. Tommy Boyle says that clip of Maguire and Mazraoui is awful. He should have been marking the big number 6 in the first place, not Mazza. Then he crushes Mazza between himself and the number 6, then holds him back to stop the goal.
Yeah,
He
I
really
saw
did.
that. Yeah, that was crazy, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think just the organisation in the box was really poor for both those set pieces. I think the second one, the guy, I can't remember the guy who scores, Mendy.
Yeah.
I think he, in the end, whilst there's kind of players around him, when he actually makes contact with the ball, he's kind of free. Like not like absolutely kind of acres of space free, but he's kind of getting a bit of a free header when he actually makes contact, and that's the sort of thing that, especially when you've already conceded it from a corner, for that to happen again. And I know in previous seasons we've had a problem with set piece goals as well. So the fact that's kind of crept back in early part of this season is not great. But yeah, I think the organisation is from set pieces is something that they have to work on, because Hull were always going to be a team that we're going to try and profit off set pieces in that game. So the fact that it didn't look like we were ready for that is quite worrying, to be honest.
It really is. And we got Ipswich next. We've already faced one promotion team. Now we're facing another.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, I think for me, for Ipswich, obviously the fact it's a home game, you'd hope that would play in our favour. But yeah, I think the issue we have is that there's already a little bit of a blueprint in terms of how teams can cause us problems. So I'm also reluctant to be too harsh because it is the first game of the season. And listen, whilst it is not good enough, it's not good enough. I'm not saying it is. At the same time, I don't think you can really judge how good a team's going to be until you're about 4 or 5 games into a season. So, sometimes you can get those early season jitters. In fact, we've had more losses than wins in our last batch of first kind of opening games. So
mhm.
it's something that, you can get over. But at the same time, the performance as a whole d- didn't really give me much confidence. But I think the Ipswich game is the perfect game to have really in terms of a game that you can hopefully bounce back in and gain some momentum, gain some confidence. But then I kind of said that against Hull as well, so you never know.
Exactly. So old Mickey says, I'm not blaming individuals. Staff coaches failed to prepare the team, and the team didn't put in enough effort. I'm more pissed with Ruben showed our weaknesses, and we did nothing about it. What do you think of that?
Um, I don't know. I think from my point of view, um, yeah, I think it's one of those things where um, I don't think we can be going back to Ruben Amorim. I think at the same time, listen, there's definitely a hangover there from what he did, but at the same time, I think the fact we've obviously had a transfer window, we've had a preseason, it's going to take time to mend these things. But at the same time, we had a good period of results under Carrick when he first came in. So it's not as if it's Carrick's first day as Man United manager. He has been here for kind of what 6 months or so. So I'm not saying he has to get it all right straight away, but at the same time, when you spent a bit of money, and I don't think he's been maybe backed in the way that we were hoping he would. I think there's still a few gaps in that team that it needs to be filled. But at the same time, I don't think we can kind of, be too like easy on him either. Really, I'm not, expecting him to have all the answers straight away. But I think a performance like that, if it is followed up by a few more bad performances, becomes quite concerning. But I'm kind of um, I'm kind of like holding back on being too critical just because it is the first game of the season. So hopefully these things can change and we'll see that in the next couple of weeks. Sorry, Mickey, I realised you were talking about the AC Milan game where he actually kind of that's what you meant when he showed our weaknesses. I've realised I was basically thinking you meant that Amrin was still to blame for what happened on Saturday. Yeah, so my apologies, Mickey, my apologies, but yeah, he did
Well,
expose our
to tell the
weaknesses. To
truth,
be fair.
he is because of if you look at it, like we went with the same team as we did against AC Milan, pretty
Mm,
much, and still got a shit result. You know what I mean? So, to tell you the truth, he is right in a way that, that he did show our weaknesses, and even I watched Match of the Day 2, and they had the assistant manager of Hull City on there. And even he said, yeah, right, they were looking at the games of AC Milan and the last couple of games, AC Milan and against Leeds. And that's what they took. They were like literally all on it. That's what they how they became victory in the game against Hull.
mm.
So, that's what the whole assistant manager said. But just before the game, we did have some great news. Are you a believer?
Well, I have to be now. The way we played in that first game. Hopefully, he can come in and do a bit of a Casemiro. So I'll tell them I'll fix this. I'm hoping that Baleba said after we lost that game. But yeah, I mean, it's a player that I'm happy we've kind of finally got over the line. I suppose there'll be an official club announcement quite soon, but it seemed like he passed his medical yesterday, so um, that is good news.
and
And
also he signed it as well. So
mm,
signed his contract 5 years plus one, I think it is.
yeah, there seems to be quite long contracts these days. It's always kind of 5 years, 6 years, but yeah, I think he's a player obviously we've been looking at for a while. Um, Obviously, his injury in pre-season is not great. I would have rathered we brought him in maybe a bit earlier, so he can have a bit more of a pre-season with us. However, I think it was a necessary purchase, especially that position. And we brought in three midfielders now, so I think in the end you can't say that we haven't looked to strengthen our midfield and haven't targeted our midfield as the main area of the pitch um, that we need to strengthen. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. It's frustrating that obviously we're not going to see him probably until maybe kind of game week 4, maybe because of
Hmm.
this injury. So yeah, frustrating. However, I like the direction. I think everyone would have said before the start of the transfer window that he was up there with the top targets in that position. So I think the fee's good as well. Obviously, we've kind of waited a couple of
Yeah.
years and the fees dropped down
Cons-
a little bit. So
I was going to say,
overall,
considering last season when we went in for him, it was over 120 million. I think that we put in a bid of 120 million and it still got rejected. To get it
yeah,
all the way down to 65 plus 5, I think that is absolutely amazing deal.
mm,
You know what I mean? So, tell you the truth, kudos to the directors for getting that low and getting him at a fair price. Like, like, as I said, like, yeah, okay, last season he did have a bit of an injury issue, and also he weren't that great when he came back.
mm,
Like, but in all fairness, he I think he gave up anyway. Like, he wanted the Man United move, he didn't get it. And I think he was just a bit disillusioned at Brighton.
mm.
But now he's come to Man United. He said that he wanted it. He would only come to Man United. We already had that. We already had the contract verbal agreement with him anyway. Before pre-contract agreement with him anyway. But now it's all come out.
Yeah,
So I'm quite happy with the deal. I'm everything is. I hope he. Hopefully, when he comes back, hopefully he isn't as injured as what people are saying,
mm.
and hopefully he can come back in the next. Maybe he was telling them that he was injured, or maybe he has got a slight knock.
Yeah. I think maybe he's picked up a little bit of a knock in pre-season, but in the end, I think the United physios and doctors and whatever, I think they'll be careful with phasing him in. He didn't
Mm,
have a World Cup either, so he's had a bit of a pre-season with Brighton, but obviously that's kind of been halted. So I think even if he's fully fit, he's not going to be right up to speed. So I think there'll be a little bit of a period of bringing him back into the starting 11. Um, Obviously, as well, we've got the international break coming up, probably quite near to the point where he'll be fit enough to start a game. So it'll be interesting to see how United handle that period. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing him in that midfield. I think one thing I noticed on Saturday was the physicality of our midfield. It isn't great. Tielemans, again, it's his first full competitive appearance in a United shirt, so I don't want to be too critical. But physically, in terms of his fitness, he didn't look great. And I think it was something that people have commented on in the past is maybe kind of recovery runs and kind of that energy around the pitch. Maybe he doesn't have it as much. However, as I said, I don't want to go too harsh on him because he's coming off a World Cup preseason, all that sort of
mm.
stuff. So I don't know. I don't want to be too. It's his first full competitive United game, so as much as his performance in terms of his fitness wasn't good enough, I don't want to be too critical straight away. Um, yeah, I think overall Baleba's going to come in, and I think he'll raise the physical ceiling of our midfield. And I think he's obviously a strong physical player.
He is.
Has ability on the ball as well, but I
Yep.
think he's going to be able to sit in that pivot and do a good job for us. So I'm looking forward to it. But obviously he'll need to get over that injury first.
Exactly. Obviously, obviously Saturday weren't very good. We've gone straight back into the transfer market. What do you think we need? I think Pete, I'm not be realistic
Mm.
with what we really need because of we're not going to just change the whole. We can't just buy a whole 11 players. You know what I mean? Decent players. So
Yeah.
where do you think we need to strengthen?
Well, I mean, I think going off a few of the stories that are coming out after the game, I think it looks like a left back is where we're going to be turning our attention for the rest of the window. Um, a few names being banded around on social media. I saw obviously Lewis Hall. We've been linked to him throughout the whole transfer window, really, but I don't see us landing him by the end of the transfer window. I think potentially. I saw a few rumours. I don't know any substance to them whatsoever, but Kadioglu from Brighton as well. I heard potentially we were looking at him, and then Balde as well from Barcelona. So it looks like left back is where we're looking in terms of strengthening, and I think that is probably the main priority going into the last week of the window for me. I think with Luke Shaw, he's been personally, I feel like he's been a good servant, playing for as long as he has, and I think actually you have to say, you know, the fact that he had the season he did last season in terms of playing all 38 Premier League games for us, having had the injury record he has in the past with some of the really bad injuries he's had, I have to give him credit for. But I do think that we've got to a stage where I feel like we should be looking at kind of the future of that position. And I think, looking at different options. So, yeah, for me, I think that's where we're going to be looking for the next kind of week or so, 2 weeks.
Who would you
Um,
want as our Who would you want as our
hmm,
left back?
it's a good question. For me, I would have said Lewis Hall. At the start of the window, I would have said Lewis Hall. And to be honest, in an ideal world, I'd still be saying Lewis Hall would be my number one priority. But I don't think we're going to get him, to be honest. I
Yeah,
think it's going to be
Newcastle
difficult.
are digging their heels in and saying that he won't go. I know that there's still talks ongoing, but tell the truth, yeah, it doesn't look like that we're getting him. But Barcelona has come out and said that they want to Bold, Balde or
Mm.
Balde or however you want to pronounce it. I'll call him Baldy. We're not being baldy. We're not being bold.
Mm. Yeah, I think obviously the fact that Balde would have played a bit of Rashford as well might also kind of sway the decision. But yeah, I mean, I kind of saw a few of the Kadioglu links today, and yeah, I think he's a good player. I think even before he went to Brighton, I think people were interested in him. So he'd be someone that would be interesting to explore. But I think Lewis Hall would have been my number one. Balde, obviously, the fact that he is coming from Barcelona, play with Rashford. I don't know. We'll see, but yeah, it's going to be tight. Obviously, last few weeks of the window. So any business we do is going to be probably quite late now.
Oh dear, you're right, Burber. He said, "I thought Barca got rid of Baldies when Pep left."
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you what, yeah, right. If we did sign Balde, right, he's 22 years old
Mm.
and he's quick, he's versatile, and I really think that we should go and get him because he's young, he's athletic, he's got a bit about him, and also the longevity of it as well.
Hmm.
I just think it will help United. And we shouldn't always go for Premier League proven. Yeah, don't get me wrong. If I had the choice, I would definitely say Lewis Hall because I absolutely last season when I was watching Lewis Hall, he was absolutely amazing, right? And I wanted United to go in for him, but with them getting rid of some of the other big players, it might be put on hold. Now, if we can go and get Balde this season, you never know. Might go and get Lewis Hall next season. So then, at least then we got some options
Hmm.
on in that left back role. Because of you got Leon. He hasn't. We signed Leon a couple of years ago. He hasn't been absolutely amazing. He hasn't got into the first team. So, we need that thingy between a good player like Lewis, a brilliant player like Lewis Hall, Balde just behind him. So then at least then we got the steps of when one leaves, the other one can come in, and then we can have like Leon, and then the other under 21 coming in as well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but I've seen a few rumours that we are looking at centre backs. Who do you think we should get as a centre back?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know who's going to be available at this late stage. Hmm. I don't know. To be honest, you've caught me out there, really.
Yeah.
I'd honestly like because there's obviously centre backs out there that are decent, but very difficult to see that they would kind of let them go. To be honest, but yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know who would bring in a centre back at this stage. I mean, is there anyone who's like on a kind of free agent type thing, or we could do a loan deal with? I mean, I'd
Well,
I don't know. Have you seen any rumours about people we're linked with?
I've seen a few Upper Meccano links, but I don't know
Upamecano.
if that is 100% true. Um, I think you got it on my thumbnail as well. No, it's not on the thumbnail, but yeah, I saw a few. I saw a few Upper Meccano links. We could go and get a hit. We could go and look for him, but I think he might be the. He's going to cost. He's going to cost a bit. Like I think he's going to cost around about 50 to 70 million.
Mm. Yeah, I don't. To be honest, after we brought Balebri in, I don't see us doing any more big deals. I think if we're going to bring anyone in, it's going to be kind of 40 million max. Really, I don't see us doing too many big deals. To be honest,
But
um,
also, we need a new
yeah.
striker as well. Like there's so they're like they said right that they were going to get. They said they wanted 6 players, 3 midfielders, a left back, centre back, and a striker.
Mm.
Right now, we got the 3 midfield. Now we need to go and get the centre back, left back, and the striker. Now, right now, tell you the truth, there's not many options out there for the striker. So, but I've seen recently or a couple. I know he hasn't been linked. I know he's been linked with Man United before, but at the moment he's on his way to Ali Howe. But
Mm.
would you take Ollie Watkins as the backup striker?
To be fair, I was just thinking Ollie Watkins would be a really good backup striker because in the end, your backup striker is the sort of player that's going to be playing Carabao Cup FA Cup, kind of coming on in the later stages of Premier League and Champions League games. Watkins has actually got Champions League experience playing for Villa now. So he's played for England. He's scored goals in big games. I actually think it would have been a good deal to do. And I think the difficulty is initially was, would he want to have been a backup striker? But then he's now going to Saudi. So I think he would have been. I think he would have been happy to be a backup striker at United. I think Arsenal were also looking at him at one point. I don't think it was this transfer window, maybe a couple of transfer windows ago. But I actually think it would have been a good deal. Same with Danny Welbeck, who a few people have brought up in the comments. I think he
Yeah.
would have been a really nice signing as a backup striker as well. So,
But
yeah, a
the
few
only thing
deals that have
is,
slipped
would
through
you
the
want an
cracks.
old player coming back? Like, Danny Welbeck, I know he was
Yeah,
on a
but
free, but
I mean,
look how old he is. He's what, 34, 33 now?
yeah, I mean, true. But I actually think if you look at last season, you could make an argument that even at his age, Welbeck was probably more informed than,
More prolific in
yeah,
front of
more
goal
prolific than
than,
any of our
yeah,
strikers were. Obviously, Sesko
true.
had a good period, but actually, Welbeck, considering his age, is still banging them in. So I don't know, but I do think when you look at our team without Sesko in it, we don't seem to really have much cohesion going forward. It feels like there's too many cooks spoiling the pot.
Yeah.
Too many kind of runs into the box. Like not much, cohesion, coordination. Um, it just feels like there's a bit of a kind of lack of understanding, and we end up being quite blunt because of it. So I think when we don't have that focal point up front like Sesko, we struggle a lot. So that is something that I feel like we could have addressed. Do I think we're going to address it before the end of the transfer window? Probably not. But I think it's something that we should have addressed.
Definitely. As I said, like, we got until like when is the transfer window ending? Because of
I think
I
it's the
said
end of the month, isn't it?
I thought it was I thought it got extended to the 12th.
Right. I might. That's a good question. Let's look it up. I'm going to look it up now.
Did
I
it
actually
get
don't know.
extended to the? I'm sure it was like until about the 12th of September, but then I've seen a few that it's the 1st of September. 11. I know that it shuts at 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's suggesting 1st September and end
So
of the
the
month.
1st of September.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So basically, we got pretty much all this week
Hmm.
to get the deal done, to get the deals done. And
Yeah.
also, there might be some that will come on deadline day. People might say that it's a week tomorrow, then, Tommy. Okay. So, tell you the truth, United need to pull their finger out. And also, they might be signing some on deadline day. People will say that it's going to be, panic buying and all that lot. But
Hmm.
tell you the truth, they might have been looking at these players thingy and whether United should go in for him. Like, we dilly dallied on Belieber whether we were going to sign him or not. Obviously, we got a good deal from that. So it's going to be interesting.
Hmm. It is. It is. But I think these deals can come out of the blue. Obviously, with Tielemans and Santos, both those deals kind of came out of the blue, really. There wasn't too much speculation on either of those players before we actually were signing them. So, deals can happen out of the blue. All it takes is for one bit of news to come, and that can happen any time. So, I suppose there's a bit of hope there, but I don't know. I feel like when we're coming towards the back end of the window, I think they're going to be quite cautious about spending. So especially because they've got Baleba now as well. So I think, yeah, going to be tricky. But I would hope that we bring in a left back before the end of the window. But as I said, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, unfortunately. But what do I know?
Exactly. What do we know? We just got to literally, we just got to see what happens. Really, we lost at the weekend. Hopefully, something's got to happen. Something we need to improve a hell of a lot if we want to compete. But
Mm,
yeah, I saw that today as well. A few of our youngsters are going out on loan, and one of them is Ethan Wheatley, who went on tour.
mm,
He's going on loan to Lincoln
mm.
for the season. So, what do you like? What do you think about, or do like, and also I see Amas is might be getting sold, and two other two other ones that might be getting sold as well.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I mean, I think the frustrating thing with that is not the fact that we're losing them, but the fact that the fees we seem to be getting for these players are not really ideal when you consider some of these players have made first team appearances for us, and um, you feel like other teams when they sell their youngsters are getting kind of 10 million more than we would. And it's frustrating because these players have got lots of potential that we can kind of we should be able to kind of at least make a bit of profit if we are to let these players go. It feels like a lot of clubs are getting them for steals, so that's frustrating. I think that bit of business is not going great for us at the moment. Um, and yeah, I feel like someone like Amas, for example, could have made an impact this season, but obviously he'll want to play more first team football, and it's natural. If you're a player, it doesn't matter whether you're at Man United or wherever, you want to be playing. And if you're not getting regular minutes, then for you don't really care what the transfer fee is as long as you get your move and get your minutes. So,
exactly.
you know, it's just frustrating from a fan's point of view that it feels like we could be getting more money for these deals, but unfortunately, um, we're not. But it's always good to see young players go out on loan and kind of get that experience and thrive. We saw that with Ahmad when he went to Sunderland. He had a brilliant season. It was great to see him, nearly take
Yeah,
Sunderland to the Premier League. So these are sort of things which are great to watch as fans to see these young players develop. But it is frustrating that when we're selling these players, we're not really getting the best value. I don't think so. Yeah, something that the kind of negotiators and the deal makers at United have to think about. I think.
exactly. So, Bill Meister, he says it's going to be Balde on loan with a fee, I think, and then they will wait on Hall. But I think it's a risk. What's that? Barcodes. Bar- barcodes. I'm taking that as Barcelona have one game a week and looked energetic. We look lethargic and disinterested. Well, we certainly need to be a lot. We certainly do need to be a lot more energetic.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the main takeaways from the whole result was just how lethargic we looked. I think, um, Bill Meister is absolutely correct in how what he said. I think it was quite a shock, really. When you think about how much money we kind of spend jet setting around. I know we make a lot of money as well, but you think about the time spent jet setting to all parts of the world, playing these preseason games. Uh, Players are coming in off the back of the World Cup as well, so it's not as if they're going to be completely out of shape when they come to preseason. But yeah, we just looked off the pace from minute one. Really, Hull really ran all over us, and that was a little bit of a worry for me. I know fitness can get better and should get better as the season goes on, but to be not ready for the first game of the season, I think is really, really poor. Considering, you know, all the preseason games or training sessions. To lose a game because you're outplayed is one thing, but to lose a game because you're outplayed, but also because you don't look like you want it enough or you don't look fit enough. That's inexcusable, really. So yeah, something he's going to have to fix for that Ipswich game, because the way Ipswich played against Sunderland, I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but they're not going to be a pushover, especially if we play the way we did against Hull. So yeah, hopefully we can come back with a bit of a response to that performance.
Hopefully we can. But tell you the truth, if you look at some of the other players that we were being linked with, and some of our top targets, as if you want to put it like that, like we can't do much worse than what Spurs did in their game. Like people wanted Mateus Fernandez, people wanted Tonale, but they still lost.
Mm.
So, tell you the truth, it's just to me, it's who wants it more, and obviously, Hull, like they haven't they. I heard that they hadn't beaten us since 1971.
Wow. Yeah.
We have been unbeaten with them since 1971, and then they go and do that to us. And it's just like, wow, that record that they've had for so long, and
Mm.
now they've beaten us. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with the Premier League as well, is you can't underestimate anyone. I think Hull coming up, there was a lot of people that maybe felt that they are probably the favourites to go, one of the favourites to go down. But I think a lot of people before the start of the game were looking at their lineup thinking this is a championship lineup. But in the end, in the Premier League, if you're not ready on any given day, anyone can take advantage, and that rings true. The amount of times down the years we've been beaten by newly promoted sides or teams down the bottom of the table, if you're not ready and you're not up for it physically, other teams uh, will make you pay for it, no matter what it looks like on paper. If you're not up for the game, they will make you pay. So that was proven once again on Saturday, and it will be proven again on Sunday if we show up in the same way. But I'm hopeful that we'll show a response, because those players, ultimately, it was quite embarrassing for them, really, on the opening day of the season, everyone watching, and Hull fully deserved the victory against them. So yeah, I'm hoping for a bit of response in the next game against Ipswich from those
yeah,
players.
definitely. There's got to be a definitely got to be a reaction to that, to the result against Hull City, and I hope that it will come soon. But if you've got any questions for Kieran, he will answer them. He's only got 5 minutes left because he's going to have to make a move.
Hmm.
But if anybody else wants to come on, let me know, and then I'll get you in. Come and have your say. I have a bit of a phoning session and chat with you all. But if you've got any questions for Kieran, get them in now. Solly Quim says, yeah, roll on the next game. Well, that's all we can do. Like, that we can dismantle it and literally digest every single nitpick at every single thing. But at the end of the day, we lost.
Mm.
Like, they just got into the Premier League, and they go and do that against us. And I think that did we show them a little bit too much respect?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, maybe we did, but at the same time, I think the main thing was just we didn't look ready for them. I think we maybe felt that um, we maybe felt that they were going to be a bit more standoffish and let us have the ball more, and like I don't know. Maybe we didn't really expect them to come at us as much as they did, and play the football that we did. They did. I don't know, but yeah, it just feels. It just feels like we were caught cold, really. Um, Thank you, Winsor. I appreciate that. I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know how, because honestly, there's no routine. There is absolutely no routine. Just get up. What you see is what you get. Roll out of bed. Stick the camera on. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't get many compliments. I especially about how I look. So I appreciate that. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, we just looked. We were caught cold. We were caught cold, definitely. Um, I saw one here says, "How do we fix it next weekend?" Well, by being physically better. I think being a lot fitter as well, and that's something that obviously is going to come over the next couple of weeks. Well, sorry, it's going to have to come over the next few months as we start playing games regularly. But if we're not fit, and we've got Carabao Cup and Champions League games to come, we're going to be in a whole heap of trouble, because if we don't actually if we don't get fit quick, we could be left behind very quickly. And I know it's the first game of the season, but 3 points on the opening day ultimately is worth the same as 3 points in May. So yeah, it's one of those where it's hopefully we get a response. That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping the players were in that dressing room feeling a bit embarrassed, going, you know what, next week we're going to properly show what we're about. So yeah. Um,
Tommy's got a question for you. Are you in a basement? What's the wooden structure behind you?
no, it's just it's just a back room we have, to be honest.
And
It's a bit of an old house, so it's it hasn't really been renovated too much, but
and then Jules
yeah,
says Kieran is the second most beautiful ginger that has ever appeared on the channel.
yeah, I second that. I second that.
I want to know who's the
Jules, handsome
first
man.
one is though, because of
Well, that's it. I mean, well, it's definitely Owen. I'm putting Jules above Owen there. I'm putting Jules above Owen. Um, yeah. Oh god, but yeah, I, it's just the lighting. I think my upgraded lighting is helping.
I tell you what, by the end of the season, you're going to be going grey.
Probably, you know what? If we played like we did against Hull,
Yeah.
38 games, I don't think I think I would have stopped watching. I think by about game week 20, I would have just stopped watching. To be honest. Uh,
Really?
no,
Come
no,
on.
obviously not. Obviously, win, lose or draw, you watch United, but still, it's. I hope that first game was a blip and not a sign of things to come. That's what I'll say.
Exactly. Like, uh, I was just really frustrated. I was frustrated with the defending. Like, no one went to go and close down the crosses or anything like that. And it was
Mm.
just absolutely mad. But anyway, Kieran, mate, cheers for coming on and spending half an hour with me. And you take care, dude. And hopefully we get you back on. We get you back on again, bro.
Yeah, no worries, you. Well, thanks for having me on Monday Night Madness. Monday Madness. It certainly was. It certainly was, especially towards the end. But I really enjoyed it. So thanks for having me, G. We'll appreciate it. And have a good evening. And I hope everyone else watching has a good evening as well. But take
And
care,
you, dude.
guys. Have a good one, and I'm sure I'll see you sometime this week. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you in a bit.
All right, then, bro. Take it easy.
Take care.
So, anyway, guys, who else would like to come on and have their say? Come and let me know, and then I'll get you in. Kieran, get your beauty sleep, but that you need it. Not that you need it. We deserve better. You come on, bro. I'll put the link in. Yeah, we deserve better. Come in. Come on. You come on, boy. I haven't spoken to you for ages. What do I think was the reason we lost to Hull? There was no desire at all. I think there was just nothing from. I'm in bed. Well, get out of bed. Just come in. I'm up at 2:30. Why? What are you doing at 2:30? Okay. Anybody else who wants to come on, just click on the link. Then, if you're in bed, Jim. Why are you going to see Jim? Isn't Jim in bed? Oh, okay, then, Sebastian. But yeah, I just think there was no desire. There was just absolutely nothing. What about you, Cake? You come on. Come and have your say, bro. We deserve better. If you're needing beauty sleep, then we've all had it. Well, tell you the truth, no matter how much sleep I get, I seem to get uglier. Oh, where do I see us finishing? I am not going to say where I think we're going to finish until at least 10 games in. Like, you're not coming on just to rant about about United is pointless. Who do I think is our best partnership and defensive partnership? I think we need to go with Mainu and Baliba. But then also you could have Mainu and Santos. I think those two will work quite well together. Either way, Mainu has got to be in the team. So it's got to be Mainu and either Baliba, Tillemans, or Santos. I think that will work well. My vision is 2020. Oh, you over there. When you say you got 2020 visions and you don't know where the other person is, just means that you've been wanking too hard. My personal expectations for United is to challenge for titles, but the reality is we do well to finish top 8. I'd take 7th right now. You're like the lone wolf. I am Pundit KD. I am the lone wolf today. Do you think Sesko is ready to lead the line? I do. I do think that he is ready to lead the line. But like obviously he has had an injury. He hasn't had a preseason. So in all fairness, like it's going to take a bit of time for him to get back to his best, the way that he was before. But once he shakes it off, then yeah, definitely he can. I definitely agree with Pundit there. He's saying, look, if he can shake off the injuries, then definitely. Oh, that's a bit surprising. I think that we should drop Bruno, go 4-3-3. Remember when we had four strikers? I know. Tell me, Leo, tell me about it. When we had Cole, York, Sheringham, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I tell you what, we need those sort of players back at the club. I really do. Do you know what? Right now, I'd take a 50-year-old Coley, or I think it's a 48. Is it a 48-year-old Yorkie? Yeah, yeah. I can share the link again. Shit, Tipsy Seb. Oh dear. Hopefully he hasn't had much. Exactly. I don't think it's a desire. I think it's their intensity. But anyway, here we go. Here's Seb. Yo, brother. How are you? Hello. Have you got your mic on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you now, dude.
Hey, how are you,
Yeah.
man?
All good, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I just wanted to share a few things, from last time. We're still talking about the United game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from that very, very bad loss we got last time. Uh, since Fergie actually uh, was like our coach for the
Yeah, yeah.
last year. Yeah. So we signed Dalo,
Yep.
as well, and we signed a few months later. We signed Maguire. We signed Shaw as well. And after so many years, I know it has been a meme for us right now, Wolf. So that's quite embarrassing, to be honest, because we have to rely on these guys again. Even if we sign Mazraoui, we sign Delight, we sign Martinez, and everyone.
Yep.
Uh, so it was quite, I don't know, it's quite a shame that a club like us, we are supposed to challenge for the big titles and whatever.
Exactly.
Even if it's not big titles, we are supposed to be a strong team, and we don't even have a second team, and for these
We haven't really got good backup players, like, whereas
yeah,
before we had, like, when we had four strikers, if you looked at it, like, the strikers that we had on the bench, like, we had the silent assassin in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was our
yeah,
super sub. We also had Sheringham, and then we could alter change them as well with Cole and York. So you could had York and Sheringham, York and Solskjaer, Cole and Cole and Sheringham, and all that lot. Whereas now we haven't got that.
exactly. At that time, of course, we were playing 4-4-2 with
Yep.
two strikers up front. But now we are playing like 4-2-3-1. But still, we don't have a second, a different striker from Cisco. And even Cisco did not play any game for preseason, right? So
Yep.
when we were losing, we had to get him on. But he's like an unfit player. Even Menu was unfit. He was like heavy on the ball,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That's terrible, man. We
It
don't have
is.
many options. We have names, right? But we don't have tangible options in our midfield and in our front line. So that's very
Exactly.
very bad, I think, for us, right? What do
Yep.
you feel?
Um, no, I get what you're saying. Hopefully, now we've signed another midfielder, so we got the three new midfielders in
Yeah,
Santos, and we got Santos, Tillemans, and also now Baliba. So I'm hoping, that if we can, hopefully, if we can get Mainu and Baliba together, or Mainu's got to be in that team. I think he will help. He will help us a lot better
yeah,
because of, when we had Tillemans, and when I saw Tillemans and Santos, I thought, oh, okay, we're going to have a whole new midfield. But it was the same thing over and over again. Literally what we've seen season after season, the midfield gets overrun. And I'm just thinking that if we can get a Belieber and a Mainu, then it might help us a little bit more. That's what I think.
yeah. So I'm just thinking about something. Even when Menu came on last time, he did not have like a very good impact on the game, right?
No, he didn't.
I think he's still affected from what happened in the World Cup with Tuchel. Eh, so that may be a point why we are trying to sign. I think we already signed the third midfield
Yeah, we
for
did.
this season.
We
But
signed a
still,
Belieber.
yeah, that's still not a solution because against Hull, a team that just joined the Premier League from the Championship,
Yep.
it was quite a very, very, very low level display, to be honest, right?
Yep.
Uh, Even Liverpool yesterday managed a draw against Newcastle. Newcastle, everyone is like downgrading Newcastle, but they were quite good against Liverpool yesterday.
Yeah,
They
they were.
signed some good players from Liga as well. So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I just
But
think, I,
yeah,
I just think Hull wanted it more. Hull, they just got promoted, come to the Premier League.
yeah,
They're getting that Premier League bounce. With Hull City, for me, it seems like that they were getting the Premier League bounce, and they were well up for it. Whereas we, like, just weren't. Literally, we had nothing. We weren't great at attack. The final third was absolutely shite. The passing was okay. We had most of the possession, but the defending was just absolutely shocking. No one going to close them down. No one going in for a tackle. It was just and then set pieces again this season. First game, you
yeah,
got to defend well, and literally again, set pieces. We've been crap at them for years, and now Hull City are getting goals against us, and we have Hull City hasn't beaten us since 1971. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
for them this
Yeah, yeah.
season to do it, they broke that duct, and literally hopefully Carrick, even though that he said in his press conference that he looks calm and all that lot, and he feels calm. But I bet you behind the scenes, he's got to be rollicking those players because of the performance that they gave against Hull was just absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
And yeah, he needs to get the hairdryer out early on the. He needs to do a famous Fergie style hairdryer and chuck
You
a
know,
boot at one of the players or something.
especially for the second half, we were basically bullied in the first half. We actually, as United fans, we wanted like a response in the second half. But if you look well at the second half, it's only the Rashford substitution that like brought us
Yeah,
more momentum. Apart from that, there's nothing, man. There's nothing. So I'm starting to believe
100%.
yeah, I'm
The
starting to
person, the
question.
person who we don't want here put
Exactly.
in a brilliant performance. who put in
Yeah,
who put in a substandard, like a standard performance that we could say, do you know what? Okay, he's got something. You know what I mean? Whereas all the other players, they didn't put in a really great performance, but when he made the subs, and then
yeah,
the person that we want gone and doesn't want to play, and we don't want then him to play for our club, he's putting in an okay performance, and it's just like, can we like he's now got the number 9 shirt. It looks like he's going to be staying with us this season. Hopefully he can do a job for us. Hopefully, like you never know. It might be, instead of Dorgu, it might be Rashford coming in all this season.
but personally, what do you think, Wolf? You agree with him staying, or you want him like to be sold like in the next weeks?
To me,
Personally,
to me,
personally, yeah,
to me personally, I want him gone. Like
yeah,
you can't say last season, I want a new challenge. I don't want to be at United. I want the Barcelona deal. I want a new challenge and all that lot. And then, like in just over a year, changes his mind and says, "No, I think the best thing to do is to stay at United." And he gets a number 9 shirt. Whereas I thought it was going to be the number 14. Like everyone thought that it was going to be the number 14. But then he goes and gets a number 9 shirt. And basically, it's like he hasn't deserved the number 9 shirt.
yeah. That's true.
To
Yeah,
me, I think the number 9 should have gone to Sesko.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But, at the end of the day, that's hopefully Carrick can get the best out of Rashford if he does stay. Obviously, I support him. As much as I don't want him here, I will support any player that I don't like, or like literally because of like you're a United fan. Literally, you got to support the players, whether you like them or not, and you've got your own personal issues with the player. You still got to support them, unfortunately. And as much as you don't want to, but you if they put in a good performance, then you got to praise them for it. But if they don't, then you got to call them out, and that's what I would do.
definitely. Yeah,
If Rashford don't put in a great performance this season, I'm going to call him out on it every single time because of literally, especially when, as I said, last season comes out and says, I want a new challenge. And then he comes to United this season and does absolutely shite for us. Then it's like, well, why didn't we get rid of him at the beginning of the season? But like Carrick thinks that he can get the best out of Carrick. Carrick thinks that he can get the best out of Rashford, and just have to see what happens. But what about you? What do you think? Do you want Rashford gone, or do you want him to stay?
yeah. So for me, regarding Rashford, I think it's quite difficult because obviously last time he told us that like he wanted to leave the club, but at the same time he's like a product from the club. He's quite good and did very good at Barcelona, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know, should maybe we should give him like one last chance. But the thing is, we had so many disruptions in the past, okay, regarding our what was happening there, uh, like what should not be revealed to the public.
yeah,
I don't know. There was Sancho involved. I know there was
yeah, yeah,
also what's the guy? Not Lindelof, Lingard and Rashford, right? So these
And
three
also
were the
Ganacho as well.
and Garnacho as well. Yeah, they were leaking like the lineups of the club at a certain point.
Yeah.
We were having like parties and nightclubs and so on. So I don't know. I don't know if Rashford was actually involved in that, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's a
Well,
good
he was
thing.
caught out. He was caught out in Scotland, wasn't he? After we lost a match,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he was pictured at gone out nightclub in Manchester, having a laugh and thingy. And
partying,
it's
right?
like, hold on, dude, come
Yeah,
on. You just lost a match. The last thing you need is to go out partying. You
yeah,
need to knuckle down. And
definitely.
like,
I agree.
it, it just puts bad press on the United when you got when like you've had a loss and then to go and do that. Yeah, okay, I get it. Maybe he just wanted to sort of just let his hair down a bit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
that. Like, let your hair down. Like, you've had a stressful day at work, you've had a poor result. You want to de stress by just hanging out with your mates, going clubbing with your mates, and all that lot. I get that. But when you're a Manchester United, when you're a Manchester United player, I think you need to have standards. And I think with Rashford, with him going out, especially on a bad loss that we had on that day, and then going out and getting pictured, getting the paparazzi picturing him out, having a good time, doesn't look great for us. You know what I mean? So for me, I think he should have been a bit more savvy about what he was doing and just had a bit of a if he wanted to go out, keep it low key rather than going to a a high place where the paparazzi are gonna take pictures willy nilly. You know what I mean?
yeah. So actually, the thing is like we all as United fans, let's say for that day, if he
Just
scored
hold
like
on a
a
minute,
hat trick,
dude. See you
yeah,
later, Jules. Take it easy, bro, and thanks for getting in and having your say, bro. He's saying he's got to go. So, sorry, dude. Carry on.
yeah. So I was just saying like for a player of his quality, maybe if he like scored a hat trick, then he was celebrating in the pub. I don't think like the fans would have been affected by that, you know. But the
Exactly.
thing is, like, he's from a loss, and he just like he's going out. He doesn't care about the club. That was the threshold, you know. Like people started like to hate him for that, and even the thing when he went to Barca, he
Hmm.
actually was playing very well. But what happened? Why don't you do that in United?
Exactly. It
Yeah,
seemed like that he just didn't care. He gave up on United. He just didn't care about the club. I don't think he really liked the manager that much. He didn't want to play for the manager.
yeah,
And hence the reason why he all he wanted was he wanted out. He wanted it like he said that he came out and said I want a new challenge. Amorim weren't going to give him, even though that he under Amorim's reign, Rashford was the one that scored the first goal for him in that
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah,
And then
definitely.
after that, he just didn't play again. After that, it was like
Yeah,
Amorim was. I don't know. Amorim was really like whoever scores for me, you're never playing for the team again. It's what it felt like.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
whenever someone scores, it's like, yeah, you're out because of you're not doing what I want you to. What? So you want to keep on losing games? The whole point is we're united. We need to win games, not lose them.
So
But
so going forward now, what do you think? Like I don't think we are going to sell him. But actually I'm quite I think Cunha is for the time being Cunha is a better job on the left side. Even if Rashford can be more like
More
in terms of
central.
speed. Yeah, but Cunha proved that last season that he can be good. I think I've read something where Carrick said Rashford can play as a second, as a striker sometimes. So I don't know because in the past it didn't work properly, right?
Yep.
Rashford tried to play as the striker. Yes, he scored some in the season where he got above 30 goals or something. You remember only once. Uh, but I don't think it's going to fit him. We need to actually invest in that right back or center back position and also in a second striker to help Cisco deal with this
Do you
workload.
mean the left back instead of the
The
right
left
back?
back, sorry, yeah, left back.
Who do you want as your left back?
Lewis Hall is quite good, but that guy from Spain as well can do the job. But I don't know in terms of the finance of the club who we can get. I heard Mateta, Mateta from Crystal Palace
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
still like negotiating. If we get him for the as a secondary striker to
Do you want to
Cesco,
know
it's
something?
very
That
good.
was another person that I actually forgot to mention because
Yeah,
of he's actually trying to take Crystal Palace to court
yeah,
over his contract.
exactly. Yeah.
So if he can get out, if he does get out of his contract, maybe we should go in and for him and get him on the definitely get him on the free, especially as if he's doing that.
That's definitely the kind of striker that we are lacking, right? Let's say Sesko is injured.
Yep,
He's the kind of guy that can, he can settle in the front. He can score headers. Can
yep.
be very physical, right? That's what we are missing actually. That's what we are
Maybe that's
missing
it.
in certain
Yeah. Do
games,
you know
right?
what? That makes a lot of sense if we can go and get him. 1000% makes a lot more sense. If he can, like, he wants to leave the club. We can see that he wants to leave the club.
Yeah,
And if we can get him on the cheap, then that's brilliant. And especially, like, as I said, he's trying to sort out his contract and try and
yeah,
get it, trying to get on the free. So if he can do that before the transfer window, then we might be able to sign him for free.
yeah. One last thing I wanted to talk about, Jewel, before I go. I've been supporting United since I'm a very young, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah,
The thing is, in the last years, right? Uh, I think in terms of the defenders, right, we settled for too little, right? For example, we bought Mazraoui
yep,
and the league, okay, to try to settle our issues in defense. But these two guys, both of them, were actually injury prone players. We never signed a new defender.
nope,
Even Lisandro Martinez,
yep.
he was someone that was injury prone. We never signed someone, okay, that was healthy in a certain way. I think you understand what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
To
know.
help us
Yep.
settle down in that defense, right? Like
We
for
haven't had
example,
that.
like we have Rio, yeah,
I was gonna say
yeah.
that we haven't had that since Rio and Vidic.
Rio and Village were the last one.
Yeah.
Before that, we had like Stam and Bruce and so on. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, we did not sign anything. I don't know. I think the scouting team knows about that stuff, right? They are
They
supposed to
would do.
know
They would
about
do.
it. They
You
are
would have
paid
thought
like
so.
they are paid well to work on these cases, but still I don't know the left back and especially the left center back position is terrible. Sorry, Maguire may have had some very nice games, but Maguire is lost sometimes in terms of the marking with players. He's totally lost. He doesn't know who to mark. He's like stressed oh, I don't know, he cannot handle any pressure, man. You saw it last time.
Exactly.
He was like hugging Mazraoui.
Yeah. He thought he was trying to get the number 6, wasn't he? But then he grabbed onto. I don't think he was looking, and he just grabbed onto Mazraoui
Yeah.
instead of the number 6 player.
So
And
how far should we still forgive these errors? Because
well,
we are
that's the
trying
thing.
to be champions, right? Because the project of the club is to be champions, I think, next season. But what's I don't know, what are they trying to involve? Are they investing money? Are they just playing it safe? It's quite confusing, to be honest. What do
Yeah,
you think?
exactly. No,
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. Like, it's something that we do need to look at. I think we do need to look at our backroom staff. Like, especially especially with our scouting, the scouting needs to be a little bit more better than what we've
yeah,
got because of, as you said, that we haven't had, like, we're signing players that have been injured, but we've been doing that over a number of years now. And I just think it needs a total revamp. And hopefully, Carrick, if he is, hopefully he can get given the time to change it because of it's something that he needs to look at. He needs to look at it at some point, or the at least Barada and Wilcox. They
yeah,
need to look at the scouting areas. Like, yeah, okay, it's great if because of I know that they've slashed the scouting, but you need them to be a lot better. I think there's better scouts out there that you can get to instead of especially the head scout that
yeah,
tells the other scouts to go out and look for players. Maybe say to them, look, don't go for injury prone players. Look for players that are going to be strong and can play week in and week out. Because of as you said, we've had players over the seasons now. It's been going on for around about 5 years, I think, 5, 6 years
yeah,
that we're buying injury prone players. We signed Hoyland when injured. We're signing Belieber now when injured. We
yeah. You
saw
mentioned, yeah.
right. I think if I remember rightly, we actually even signed Ahmed when he was injured.
Injured, yeah, from Sunderland, right?
Yeah,
And even Mount, he was
not from
injured. Yeah,
Sunderland.
yeah.
It was from a foreign team. We loaned him to Sunderland.
Ah,
Right,
Rangers, I think Rangers or something. Yeah, yeah.
right, but it was not Rangers. We put him on loan at Rangers. He was playing for a Spanish team. No, an Italian team. He came from Ahmad.
Still injured, right?
Yeah, right. And now look, he's still injured.
Yeah,
As I say, most of the players that we signed injured, and it's just we're trying to get them back to fitness and all that lot. But when they're injured, it's a bit difficult.
yeah. Ahmad was actually signed from Atalanta, but I think when we signed him, we loaned him to anyway to different club. Still, it's like it doesn't change the issue here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't change. I think he went to Sunderland or
Yeah,
Rangers
Ahmad
or
went to,
yeah,
so he came from Atlanta. Yeah, we paid 30 million to
yeah,
Atlanta for Ahmad. And then when he came to United, he came injured. Then when he wasn't injured, we did loan him out. We loaned him out to Rangers first
yeah,
um for half of the season. He didn't have a great season. He weren't really getting any games. And so then we called him back, and then Sunderland came in for him for the second half of that season, and he did well there.
yeah. It's
So,
quite hard to be honest. Anyway, thank you, Jewel. I need to go now. It
yep,
was nice, like sharing some views with you.
it was.
Uh, we'll catch up later soon with Rich and everyone else. So
All right
cheers,
then,
man.
bro. Thank you for getting on,
Thank you, man. See
and
you.
I'll see you next time, bro. Take it
All
easy,
right.
Seb.
Cheers. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a pretty good thingy from Seb there. Well, nicely done, dude. Thank you for coming on. Anybody else who wants to come and have their say? One final thing for the next 5-10 minutes. That was a brilliant call from Seb there. But if there's not going to be any other people that are coming on, I just want to say a massive thank you for everyone that came in, had their say. Thank you for Kieran. Thank you for Seb. You absolute bunch of legends. It's been great. And yeah, just disappointing that United couldn't get their first win. Hopefully, in the next week or so, there's going to be lots of movement in the transfer for United. Hopefully, we can get a left back. Hopefully, we can get a centre back, and also hopefully we can get a striker. But with this board, you never know. But let's see. And also, we need to get our first win next week against Ipswich. The performance has got to be a lot better. The intensity's got to be a lot better, and our desire's got to be a lot better. And more importantly, the defending has got to be a lot better. Hopefully, Euro is going to be free for that game. It looks like Chelsea is winning, only just though. Fulham looks like they've got a great player in Garcia from Barcelona. Hopefully, if he does become a brilliant player, then we should go in for him. He might be the deal of the season. That Garcia guy, if he carries this on, he scored 2 goals already. He's on for a hat trick, isn't he? Must be if he scored 2 goals. But anyway, guys, just want to say a massive thank you for hearing me, hearing other people. Been an absolutely brilliant show tonight. Thank you for all the guests. Thank you for all the likes. Don't forget, guys, smash the like button on your way out. Also, if you're new, subscribe to the channel and also click the bell icon so you'll be notified for more shows like this or watch alongs. There is going to be a watch along on Sunday. I will be here. But for now, be there or be square. And for now, the G Wolf is going. And it's been a pleasure. See you next time, guys.